And there's things that we have to go through, statements, witness evidence, all of that. And with my spirituality, as I said, I cannot judge. I cannot have a sense of judgment. Or you're a murderer because you somebody. The person might have killed somebody, but it might have been in self-defense. The person might have killed somebody because maybe there is some psychological trauma that they're going through. Maybe it's a narcissist, maybe it's there's things behind these crimes. Nobody just wakes up and says, today I'm going to become a murderer. Your ancestors are the ones who came before you, and they guide you. God is God is everything. God is the Almighty, and I've met God. I have met God. He's gotten me through the hardest parts of my life. So it's the higher being, the higher power that you pray to, and your ancestors are there to guide you and protect you, as a father would protect you when you're here.
In a world where Africans have lost their roots, it has become of vital importance to document our ways. In an effort to reverse the brainwashing of the past, where we were made to believe our ways are demonic, we are pressed to create dignified and respectful platforms to unpack our spiritual ways. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs or position of this channel, its hosts, or affiliates. This podcast is a platform for open discussions and exploration of various perspectives, including controversial and unconventional ideas. We encourage viewers to think critically, do their own research, and form their own opinions. The content is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as fact, advice, or an endorsement of any specific viewpoint. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Umoya Ulight, Umoya Upright, welcome to another exciting episode of MOYA Podcast. We always love to give you the education that you're not going to get at the Mlungu schools. Thank you so much to everybody liking, sharing, and subscribing. The numbers are growing, so we do see that you're making an effort. Thank you especially to the members who help us keep the lights on. Remember to watch the adverts all the way to the end, guys. That's how you contribute from just in your little corner if you are not a rich aunt or man or what, but watch the adverts. Once again, we've got another beautiful guest, GOGO ZANDILE GIDDION. We're going to unpack it. What's nice about where we are right now is now we're getting into the corporate space. So all the corporate hands are coming and saying, hey, man, I've also got a calling. Me too. GOGO ZANDILE unjani?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming through. You saw when I saw it, I was like, you're GOGO ZANDILE.
They come in all shapes and forms.
I'm so shocked. I'm just like, Jesus. So please unpack that for me. I mean, obviously everybody's always interested. I'm sure you get this response.
I have been getting that response. So
Yeah.
I'm Anissa Zandile Ashante Gideon. My name carries power.
Amaku.
So to give you a breakdown of my name,
Please.
the name Anissa is compassion friend, divine compassion. My second name Zandile, which was given by my dad, means more than enough. So the beautiful story behind that name is I was named after one of his close friends who was a comrade. She was running into exile, literally with her baby sister on her back. Whilst running, she probably ran for maybe 10 meters. And when she got to her arrival spot, her sister had been already shot dead. So I carry that name with a lot of pride.
Yeah.
Perseverance. I keep going. No matter the struggle, you keep going. And then my last name, Ashante, was given to me by my mother. It's the Swahili name for Asante, which means the grateful one. So that's my name, yes.
Beautiful. So tell us more about your spiritual journey.
We're all spiritual beings.
Yes,
We
yes.
all shine in God's light. I started practicing maybe within the last year. I really started accepting my gift.
Let's
And
start from before.
when I was younger, I saw it in my parents. So my parents were also very gifted people. They didn't know how to categorize their gift. I'm so blessed that I'm in the practice and I'm following it. I'm listening. I grew up in a household where my father and my mother were very giving people. My mom brought in homeless kids and bathed them, gave them food. That in itself is a gift. Her parents were healers, where they healed sick kids. My grandfather was very intuitive. He saw and knew things before they happened. And so that my parents were gifted. So growing up, we weren't in a household where we practiced or recognized our family as healers. But I saw it in their actions, the giving, the loving, the caring. My father, many people can testify to who he was as a man. May his soul rest in peace. But throughout growing up, I had dreams, visions. Obviously, I hadn't been trained to listen, to the dreams, listen to the voices. Until I met a beautiful community who has helped me and guided me through this journey.
Did you go through like difficult, or like how did you recognize that something is a little bit?
I mean, I would often have dreams that would materialize within 2 weeks or a week. And I'd voice it to my parents and friends and siblings, and before you know it, it actually has unfolded. I just took it as, it's just one of those things. Until my dreams really started unfolding, and I was really blessed enough to listen. It's also once I only started knowing myself, In this thing that we call the gift, you really need to know who you are as a human being. You need to be very sure about who you are so that you don't get easily shaken. And that allows you to then listen to the spirits. Not just hear them, but listen and get guided. And so, it's been my whole life, but I can say officially it's been this past year, 2025, where my life really took a turn for the better. And my blessings came, and
I'm still going to get there.
Yes.
I want to get to, like, how old are you when you're starting to feel like I actually need to go to someone about this gift?
I can't say it was something that I had to sort out or something that was bothering me. I was just guided to somebody who had then...
What happened for you to be guided?
Just my dreams. My dreams were guiding me.
Yes.
And I got led to the right person. Somebody that held space for me and helped me through.
And how did you know that was the person? Like, what's the story?
My dream. I had a spiritual meeting with this person.
This is beautiful.
And, then our spiritual contract had started from there.
Then how did you recognize,
please speak English.
How did you recognize that that's the person?
Because I saw it in my dream. I saw her face in my dream.
And then you go up to her and you're just like,
I had met her before.
Uh-huh.
She had been guiding me through, I had some struggles with my dad's health and my life, and it felt like turmoil. So I just went to go see her for some guidance. Also confusion in my life. Before you settled in your gift.
Yes.
There's a lot of...
Yes.
Your ground shakes.
Yes, turbulence.
And there's cracks that you might fall through. And she guided me through a lot of that difficult times in my life. And there was a point where she said, now you're ready. The dream came to me.
And then what happens?
And then I sat and she taught me. I followed my dreams. She listened to her dreams. She listened to her ancestors. I listened to mine. And I've just been going on many spiritual, if you can say it, excursions. Going to important places.
Yes.
Joburg is not that easy to reach out to God, if you can say.
Yes.
So I've traveled to the Eastern Cape. I've traveled to Kuruman. I've been so blessed. And there is where I got all the confirmation I needed. So as a healer, you always doubt. I don't know, I think doubt is a strong word.
Yes.
But, you're always labeled as crazy or, what is this?
Yes.
And then when you build your community and you realize you're not the only person that sees these things, that hears these things, your intuition, you follow your intuition. And with that, slowly we built a community, and the confirmation, I would be in awe of myself, I think that's how it came about, and yeah.
You must not feel like we're in a rush. We are here to learn about you,
Yes.
so you can just settle in nicely. Yeah. Don't be shy to go into corners and whatever you off ramp on, it's fine. You're welcome to do that. So I want to know, like, did you do the traditional, did you go to your gobela and stay there like the traditional way, or how did your journey play out?
My journey is quite different in that I am led by ancient spirits.
Yes.
Ancient spirits being the Nga people. So their traditions have to be followed because that's my bloodline. So I won't say it is the traditional sense of you go and you stay in the mountains with your gobela and you get certain training. My training is as I progress with my gift. I've been to Eastern Cape, I've been to Kuruman, where things unfold. And as they unfold, confirmations come and rituals are followed. And I think my coach, my healing coach, she listens to her ancestors on how to guide me. Because, I mean, people like me are not known to be spiritual healers. Not that we aren't.
Yes.
It's just it's not a common practice in our community. I did not grow up knowing this or understanding this. So this is new for me. We are led by spirit and we listen and we follow. So I can't say that I followed the traditional sense of twasaring or, I can't say that. Yeah.
So what is, when we speak about spirituality and the journey, what is it to you?
I don't know how do I put this in words. I feel so honored. I feel so blessed. There are so many times where my spirituality is tested and I'm called to help people, not knowing that, I go to a certain place and I don't know what's going to unfold. I don't know how I'm going to help them. I mean, even in my job as an attorney, I help people. And I always say that it works hand in hand with my spirituality. My clients come to me. They're sent by spirit. It's my gift. I am proud to be where I am. I'm 37 now. I think this really captured me when I was around 35. I was grown and I started knowing myself, and also I've stopped taking life as a joke. I just saw the seriousness of it and that I have a calling and I need to answer. I need to be used as God's vessel to help those that I can and listen to my ancestors and be guided by them. I'm in awe of my spirituality. I'm always shaken by how things unfold, and I still can't believe it. I feel so blessed, and I see the world differently now. Where you're in corporate and you're chasing money, lifestyle. With my spirituality, there's a new side to living. I'm so grateful for the little things, for the air in my lungs, for the,
You touched on the fact that you're a lawyer.
Yes.
Because now we are in a space where we're merging corporate and African spirituality. So how do you marry these two relationships? How do you navigate the space?
I mean, at this time, I think the laws are still not very inviting of African heritage and spirituality. It's only of recent where you now can get a doctor's note from your sangoma to say, I've seen my healer. Which, I mean, this is our heritage. It should have been. It should have been
our doctors
stamp a long time ago. But I think we are evolving as a country, as a nation, and we're moving towards a more spiritual. If you see what's going on, there's a lot more healers that are coming up. Well, there are healers who are
yes.
Not to mention names. But we are all born in God's light. We are all gifted people. It is just how willing are you to access it and to accept it and also work in the light of God. I mean, there's darkness and light to everything. So when it comes to corporate, and we're moving, slowly progressing to that, not as progressive as it should be. Not in Africa, not in South Africa. But we all work towards that hopefully one day.
Do you think that your gift led you to the law?
So I'm slowly starting to believe that. In the beginning, we're 5 kids. I'm number 4. By the time he came to me, my dad was an attorney. By the time he came to me, my parents were like, you're studying law. And I was like, no, I'm a creative. I want to go to AFTA. I want to do cinematography. My parents were like, no, you're doing law. I studied law, and I think I studied at Wits. I wasn't really the best A student. I was just starting to get 50%. I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. My dad has forced me. I then went on to do my master's degree in 2013 at Stellenbosch because I was trying to run away from my parents. And I got my degree in environmental law. And as you have it, my mom was like, you need to come back to Joburg and work with your dad. He's not doing well. And I was like, oh, the reason I studied in Cape Town was so that I can get away. But I got called back to Joburg. And I really followed my father's footprints. He was a criminal attorney, one of the best ones in Joburg, I might say.
Oh, okay.
I followed his footsteps and I slowly took over his firm. He got quite ill in 2016, end of 2016. He had a stroke and it forced me to run the business for the 5 years before he passed. And looking at him growing up, I always said, law is my father's calling. He does it effortlessly, does it with so much passion. He would sometimes send me to court and say, just go and do the work. And I'd say, but they haven't paid. And he said, no, do what I'm telling you. Your blessings will come. And I would say, Dad, we're running a business, not a charity. And he says, do as I said. So I always believed that this was my father's gift. He was a very powerful attorney. He knew the law. He really knew the law. Anybody who knows of him speaks very fondly of him. And looking at him now that he has passed, and I've had to open my own law firm now in 2022, I love what I do. I wake up every day so blessed. I don't wake up going to work with like a burden on my shoulders. No, I wake up with joy in my heart because I'm out there to help people, and this is my calling as well. So I've been led into law through my father, and he's my living ancestor, and everything that I do is through him. He's taught me everything that I know, my people skills, my compassion. He's taught me everything that I know. So yes, if it was his calling, it's my calling too.
So now, because I'm still trying to understand, because that has to do with justice.
Yes.
And helping people.
Yes.
And how does your gift show up? Like, do you need to now make it more sophisticated because of the space you're in, or?
I think what's necessary in my profession, I practice 70% of my work is criminal law. And people always come to me, how do you represent criminals? At the end of the day, criminals are human beings, right? They were all born, like every one of us, with no intention to do harm, with no intention to hurt people. And criminals are very easily judged. And with your gift as well, as you know, if a patient sees you, you cannot have any judgment. Same with my job. A criminal comes to me, I'm not there to judge them. I'm there to help them. And most times they need the help. It's either circumstances or, when they were younger, if they had like adverse childhood experiences that didn't favor a healthy environment that led them to this. It's circumstances that lead them to this. So I do have to wear the cape of I'm a professional and I'm going to help you as best as I can. But with my job comes a lot of compassion. And with compassion, I gain trust from my clients. And I think that is why I've also, I'm still in this business. I'm still doing it. Running your own business is not easy. But having clients return is what really fulfills my life. And it's I owe it to my compassion. I owe it to, I don't have judgment. I'm not judging anybody that walks into my space. They tell me they need help. They tell me their story. I listen and I help them to the best of my abilities.
And it's interesting because it is kind of like a doctor. Like when someone comes with gangrene legs, all of us are like you, but somebody has to step up and go fix the gangrene, right?
Yes. I always tell people when they're like, how do you do this job? And I say, I'm like a doctor. You go to a doctor to save your life. Nobody wants to go to jail and nobody wants to die. I think those are the two biggest fears. So if you come to me, I'm there to help you. I'm really just there to help you with no judgment at all.
This is so also difficult for some people because this criminal you're speaking about could have sexually assaulted my relative, could have murdered my relative, but you are having a space of compassion and holding space for them. And what about the opposite side? Is there no conflict? What?
At the end of the day, I present a case to the court. I don't make the final call. A client comes to me with a story. I see how I can help them. I know they always categorize lawyers as liars and
Yes.
manipulators of the truth.
Yes.
But that's not it. Most times, cases are so intricate and so in depth. You don't know the history behind the perpetrator. Sometimes these are kids who've been abused their whole lives, and the abuser becomes the abused. The abused becomes the abuser. And they're lashing out at society because of their childhood anger. I accept a client, I deal with the matter, and at the end of the day, it is either the judges or the magistrate's call to make whether they're guilty or innocent. That's not for me to determine. So, do I have compassion for the victims per se? Yes, of course. Most times clients come to me with either the truth or not. I just work with what I'm given. It does not mean that I have a lack of compassion for the victims per se. I'm there to help. I'm getting paid to help somebody. That's my job. I'm a creature of instruction. They instruct me. I did not do it. I'm going to represent you as best as I can. But at the end of the day, I do not make the call. I just do my job.
I wonder how, though, spiritually, how do you deal with, say you can see through the lie of your client, and the gift is about truth.
Yes. So in that, most times clients will come to me with some sort of story that they have spun.
Yes.
And I sit them down and I say, especially if my intuition tells me, no, this is not the truth.
Yes.
I sit them down and tell them, I can't represent you unless you give me the full truth, right? I pick it up and I work through that. You need to have people skills in this business. It's my profession, so I need to deal with it professionally. I say, come to me with truth, and then I'll see how I can assist you. Then with that, there's the docket, and there's things that we have to go through, statements, witness evidence, all of that. And with my spirituality, as I said, I cannot judge. I cannot have a sense of judgment. Or you're a murderer because you killed somebody. The person might have killed somebody, but it might have been in self-defense. The person might have killed somebody because maybe there is some psychological trauma that they're going through. Maybe it's a narcissist. Maybe it's there's things behind these crimes. Nobody just wakes up and says, today I'm going to become a murderer. Something led them to that. I unpack it, I unfold it, and I help them. My job is to help, not to judge, not to change the truth, I do what I can to help them.
I suppose even as the Sangoma, that's what we do, right? Whoever comes, whatever.
You can't reach out to them with a sense of judgment. If somebody comes to you with a problem, you help them as best as you can.
You said that 2025 was quite a year for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it came to my work was extremely quiet, and running your own business, especially as an attorney, as a criminal lawyer, and what's been going on with the corruption in our country, our work being taken from us, it was a very quiet year. In the beginning, I struggled to accept and understand, why is this happening? Should I go look for a job? And then my spirituality kicked in, and I realized it's my time to rest and reset. My whole life has been busy with taking care of my father for the longest time, taking care of his business. And for the first year, I focused on me, and there was space for me. So it was my rest time. And that's when Spirit really reached out to me and said, wake up, it's time to work. But I needed that time to rest. I needed that time to focus on my spirituality wholeheartedly. Because, when you're going for training or you're going for lessons or consultations with other patients, you can't be here on your phone, I've got to go to work now. That space was really given to me last year to settle in my spirituality. Yeah.
Unpack it some more. We're listening.
So, where can I say where it all started? I think my trip to the Eastern Cape was a very important trip for me. Going to a village that I had no knowledge of, didn't know the people there, didn't know what to experience.
How did you know to go to that village?
I was invited with a group of people,
Okay.
or Spirit brought us together. And we went to the Eastern Cape, and it was labeled as a retreat, a spiritual retreat. But really it was spiritual boot camp. I experienced many amazing, beautiful things there. I had many confirmations there. And I sat on that mountaintop and prayed. I prayed for clarity. I prayed for guidance. I prayed for my health. You know, I had a bit of a health scare with COVID. Almost didn't make it. And the moment I landed back in Joburg, all my prayers were materialized. And when you really sit down and think, okay, I'm going to take this journey on as a healer. I'm going to commit to my gift. Your life unfolds with so many blessings you don't know you needed. So coming back from the Eastern Cape, I will always say that was my pilgrimage. I always say that. I met amazing people there. I built my community from there, my healers community. I was accepted with so much love and grace. And I'm a different color, you know, I'm a different person. I don't speak the language. I'm only English speaking, but there were a bunch of people willing to open their arms up and hold space for me. And as difficult as it was for me to go through whatever journey I went to, really God and Spirit really gave me the right people to hold my hand. And I left Eastern Cape a different person, reborn, rebirthed. And with that, I was able to really fulfill my duty, you know, my purpose. I'm still learning. You never stop learning as a healer. Your gift keeps unfolding. I'm just so blessed. I have no other words, but I'm so blessed, and I really am God's child. I always joke and say sorry that I'm God's favorite, but I really believe that I'm so blessed. Yes.
How did your family and your environment take to you choosing this particular gift, especially since?
So, as you know, when you're gifted, most of your siblings are also gifted. My younger sister took this journey before I did, and I was there to support her and hold her hand and really just be there for her. So I'd already experienced what she had gone through. It was the first time I was exposed to this. So with her taking her gift seriously and following her journey, I was exposed to it. So it wasn't really the unknown for me. Of course, personal experience, it would be the unknown for me because I had to do different things compared to what our gifts are completely different. So what was your question again? Sorry, how?
Actually, what I want to know, because now my mind is busy, what race are your parents? Because
Very colored. So I come from, if you look at my maternal side,
yes,
my great-grandmother was Shona, and my great-grandfather was Jewish.
Okay.
They had a son who was then obviously colored.
Yes.
Came to South Africa and met my grandmother who was Indian. So that is my mother's mix.
Yes.
My father's mix, we come from a lineage of Italian blood. So my surname is Gideon, but it derives from the Italian surname Gideoni. And he also comes from the maize, which were Indian. White, black. So my parents are very mixed, but they're colored.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I'm a mixed masala, a lucky packet, if you would say that. And
so how would you end up in Ubungoma?
Which means?
The African spirituality, as opposed to...
So recently I've learned that the first people, which were the Nga people,
yes,
they followed spirituality.
Yes, of course.
They created these rituals.
Yes.
Which then they taught that to the African people. African people took it from the original people, which were the Nga people. And those people are who I'm led by ancient spirit. So, you know...
But those people would also be African because I need to be all descend from...
Yes, they are African. But if you ask me where do I get it from?
Yes.
I get it from the ancient spirits who created spirituality. Not created spirituality. but who practiced
Yes.
what we practice today.
Yes, yes.
What has been taught to
The foundation.
my ancestors, your ancestors. That's who I'm led by. So that's how I've arrived. I've arrived here through that.
How would you get the name Zandile if it's from an Italian lineage?
My dad was a comrade. He was an activist in the struggle. And my younger sister's name is Palesa. So he was a very cultured man, and he was very strong in his heritage.
And he's light-skinned like you guys.
He's got green eyes. He had green eyes and light-skinned, and he spoke all 11 languages. My father was African. He was an African man.
Yes.
Just a light-skinned, but he was an African man. And so, yes, he gave me the name Zandile.
This is so interesting because now this brings us, because there's always that identity debate with colored people. And the fact that you are practicing African spirituality, but some coloreds are like, no, I'm not African. And so then what would the ones who are saying they're not African, then what would their spirituality be?
I mean, I think it would be Christianity or Islam, whichever religion they want to follow.
But these are all
right?
new.
But it's all determined on how you're raised, I think. What are your parents' values? My parents were very deep in. My father was he's a cultured man. And so he raised us. I mean, I was brought up in the church. And then at around 10 years old, we converted into Islam. So I've been exposed to many religions. In the end, I chose my spirituality because it's where I felt home. It's where I felt, okay, this makes sense. This is where I'm at right now. I think it's a very personal thing. So religion, spirituality, race, you know, when somebody says, well, no, I'm not black, I'm colored. It's a personal thing. And who am I to judge once again or infringe on your beliefs? If that's who you think you are, then so be it. But I've labeled myself as, you know, a healer. I wouldn't say, you know, somebody asked me, oh, are you a Sangoma? And I said, I wouldn't label it as that. I label myself as a healer. I am a healer in the traditional sense, if you want to say that. But in the godly sense, I'm a healer.
When we go back to chambers, how does your spirituality play out? Do you burn in Beppo and stuff? Like
No, I don't. So I'm in a profession where a lot of my colleagues knew my father. He really paved the way for me, and he was a very cultured man. They knew who he was. So when I rock up to court with my beads and, you know, in my heels still looking cute, it's not something that alarms them. They know that my name is Zandile. They know where I come from. My father was a person for the people. I mean, the cleaners at court, if they'd lost a parent, he would take them to the home village and bury their parents. He really, the community that I belong to in my legal field, I really own it all to my father. So I was accepted with open arms. None of them feel uncomfortable around me. Some of them question me. Some of them see it and just like, okay, makes sense. My dad would always joke that he's a Sangoma. In the true sense, he was.
Yes.
So I don't walk into boardrooms. I walk into courtrooms. Courtrooms, I litigate for a living. The magistrates, the judges, the prosecutors, the stenographers, they all knew my dad. They knew, so they know where I come from. They're not surprised. It's not as though one day I rocked up to court and I'm a brand new healer. I think they just look at me and say, okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. He's her living ancestor now. It makes sense. Yeah.
Sure, fascinating stuff, hey? But I still want to know how else your spirituality would play out in this corporate space.
I mean, when I'm busy with trials, and I did a lot of trials with my father before he passed. And today when I walk into a courtroom, I don't walk alone. I walk with him. So whether it's cross-examination, whether it's bail applications, I know that I'm led by his spirit and I listen. So if I'm confused or there's difficulties within the case that I'm trying to crack, I call out on his name and he guides me and I listen. So spirituality is also the gift of listening. Don't just hear. Listen to what is being said and trust what is being said. So I walk into a courtroom knowing that I come with my people. I trust what my gut says, and I do the best that I can in a courtroom.
How did you move from religion to spirituality? What made you?
I think my parents growing up also struggled with trying to find a religion that really stuck with them. My mother was raised in the church. Her parents were pastors and they were really gifted pastors, you know. And she struggled with, do I really want this church thing? We weren't raised, we have to go to church every Sunday. We weren't raised that way. My father always said that church is a man-made thing. So they struggled. They tried to navigate their way through religion. And I think within that, they also instilled in us, find what suits you, and then you go with it. I went to madrasa, so I learned how to read the Quran and speak Arabic and all of that. But when I think I was around 20, I realized that the religion is not for me. It's a beautiful religion. And I've taken, each religion that I was exposed to, I took the lessons from each religion. And I really reached out into what spirit says, what felt right. And this is what feels right. It fits like a glove. There's no questions to what I'm doing.
What are because you said you don't burn in pepper.
I do burn. I just mean I don't walk into the courtroom.
Okay.
I don't walk into a courtroom and
then
light my candles.
Yes.
No, I don't. I walk into the courtroom with prayer and I trust God that everything will go as planned. For protection. I'm also in a very dangerous industry.
Yes.
But my faith in God is undeniable.
Yes.
And that's my God. He's God.
I hear you.
Yeah, but I do burn people. I do light my candles. I do reach out to my ancestors.
Yes, that's what we wanted to know for the corporate hands, because now you've got to show up as
you've
madam.
Got to show up as your best self, and also protect yourself from what's out there spiritually and in the real world. People aren't always happy with either how a case has gone. As you say, the victims are either upset, and you just walk in there asking God, I'm going to do my job. I pray that you protect me and you guide me, and that no evil spirits come my way, or not even evil spirits, just bad wishes on me because I'm doing my job.
How do you interpret God and ancestors?
Your ancestors are the ones who came before you, and they guide you. God is God is everything. God is the Almighty, and I've met God. I have met God. He's gotten me through the hardest parts of my life. So it's the higher being, the higher power that you pray to, and your ancestors are there to guide you and protect you, as a father would protect you when you're here on earth, while he's alive, or a mother per se provide. They don't stop being parents when they've passed. Their job is still there to take care of you. You were gifted to them as a child, as they were gifted to their parents as a child. So the lineage continues and the gift continues. And you're just there to accept their guidance, listen to what they're saying, because now as an ancestor, they know more.
Exactly.
They see more. They foresee more. And they're there to guide you. They're your guardian angels. They're angels. They're there to guide you.
Where are your interests? What's your healing? For me, I want to heal Africans and fix the brainwash and the trauma. That's where I'm coming from, or women. Where are you coming from? What's your purpose? Why do you do what you're doing?
I mean, I can't pinpoint it to one thing. I've recently started attending to people who are on their way to passing. So connecting them with the spirits on the other side, preparing their journey, if you could call it a death doula as well.
What does that mean? Unpack this now.
So if somebody passes, I either get called to them in a dream. So how they want to be buried or what they need from me will be sent to me in a dream. How I interpret it is very important, because it then guides me on how to prepare them for their passing. So I would either prepare them for their passing or prepare them for their burial. That just opens their walkway to the other side.
This is incredible. So now, what are you saying? Have you met the person before? Do they show up in your dream first and then you meet the person?
I mean, the few occasions that I have done this, I have known the people, and I've had a special bond with them, either by family lineage or knowing them. And the messages, you know, their ancestors felt safe to connect with me and give me the message. And I just listen once again and do as I'm told or as I'm guided. Or in my dreams, the person who is passing will directly show me in a picture what must be done. And I'm then there to, you know, in the state of passing, you're not really corpus mentis, so you either can't speak or people don't trust what you're saying because they're old, they're confused. You know how it is. But I'm then given the dream of what it is they need, and I fulfill it. I just do what I need to do.
In broad explanation, why would you need to prepare for your death? What is this process you're talking about?
I mean, death is similar to birth, you know. It's a process. When you arrive as a newborn, your spirit before you're in the human being. And passing, you're now leaving your physical being and you're heading back to the spiritual world. And that in itself needs preparation. There's things that you might have not completed, you know, on earth, or things that you yourself in spirit are not happy with. And you won't be happy leaving earth if you don't fulfill what's needed. And when you're on your sickbed or you're dying, you don't have the strength to fulfill your last need. And so it's either up to me to assist in dealing with family dynamics that need to be sorted out before death, breaking generational curses that need to be sorted out before death, so that it allows you to have an easy pathway to the other side.
So you kind of mean like if I'm dying and I've got a broken relationship with my dad, you will do some ceremonies and burn him barefoot and talk to my dad for me to release.
Yes. Or even if you have had a difficult interaction with somebody who has already passed, say an ancestor, and you want to be open with, you know, you want to be accepted with open arms. So I assist in the communication of, you know, this person recognizes that they either have done you wrong or you have done them wrong, but they forgive you. It's a sense of forgiveness, because when you pass, you want to pass with peace. You don't want burdens on your shoulders. You don't want to have anything undone. You know, you want your bags to be packed and ready to go. And so I'm still in the process of learning that this is my gift and this is what it translates into. But what I've been exposed to so far, it's breaking those generational curses, allowing the other side to accept you and the other side to let go of you.
What do you think happens to the spirit? Have you thought about that? Like during that
I
time?
have, you know, I spent a lot of time thinking about it. The loss of my father played a big role in my spirituality as well. My dad and I were extremely close. I mean, when he went to work when I was a kid, I would cry, "Take me with you." When I was in grade 1, they'd have to put a photo of my father on my desk. Our bond was so strong.
Spiritual.
It was a spiritual bond. And everybody thought, how am I going to survive now that my father has passed? I surprised myself. I came to the understanding that half of my life I'm awake, the other half I'm asleep.
Yes.
And my relationship with him is not over, because he comes to me in my dreams. He communicates. He still guides me. He's still there. It's not over. So when somebody passes, we need to understand that it's just the vessel, it's just the body that has now died. But spirit lives on. My father is right here with us right now. Spirit lives on. And that's what he is. So I always say his death has really helped me and guided me to understand what happens to spirit once they move on. Thank you. What happens to spirit as once they've now passed and transitioned. Yeah.
Because you know what I often wonder about, like when the person dies, how long is it, Like, what are the processes? But these are just the thoughts that I'm
Thoughts
having.
that you have.
Do they go immediately to the other world, or is there some waiting room that they go through?
You know, everybody, we all stuck wondering, what is this? How does it happen that, you know, your parent passes? Will I see them in spirit,
Yes.
in dreams? That is something nobody has the answer to, right? Because we're all living. We haven't passed on yet. But it just, and that's why I do what I do, to help the spirit transition. There are spirits who are still lurking because there's unsettled business, or they haven't settled spiritually in the other realm. So they're still roaming the earth, to say. Unpeaceful, without peace, with, you know.
And how do we know that?
Through dreams.
Yes.
I recently met another healer that we work quite closely with. We have had different journeys, life journeys. And you know, when you meet a fellow healer, there's always a reason that you meet each other. God brings you together, Spirit brings you together. And she had told me a story about how they are the Khoisan people in Cape Town who were killed in Simon's Town. And never got they didn't get a proper burial. Their remains weren't dealt with properly. And she called out to me and said, they told me that I would meet you and that you need to assist in having them transition. These are people that have died thousands and thousands of years ago, but because their burials weren't dealt with properly, they were buried in mass graves. They, you know, all the autocracy that happened, they never got a chance to settle their spirits. And I think that is, so that is part of my job, is to assist in helping spirits transition, helping them find peace in their death. It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
It is mind-blowing, and I'm so honored to know that I'm capable of assisting in ways that are, you don't find this in the books. Nobody teaches you this in school. You were taught by Spirit. You have to learn how to listen. And I am thankful that my ears are wide open, my eyes, my senses, my taste, my smell. I trust my body.
Yeah.
So in trusting yourself and knowing yourself, it really helps you with your spirituality. There should be no room for doubt. Once you doubt yourself, you can't trust what Spirit is saying. So it takes practice. My profession has also helped me really get to where I am in trusting yourself. And it takes practice listening. Just listening and being guided and accepting the guidance, right? Because we're also we're human. We can say, well, I don't want to listen. You will listen. You will end up having to listen if you don't.
Do you not find it difficult that it's quite a magical space? It is. Right?
It is. It's such a sacred space.
Yeah.
And I mean, speaking to you about this is also quite difficult. It's something that is so sacred that you're not out there in the world advertising. You know, I'm not on this show to advertise my spirituality or to say, well, look at me, I'm the golden girl. Not at all. I'm merely here to educate. And you have questions as a healer. Yourself, you have questions. As a healer myself, I always have questions. And our gifts are completely different. We all have our purpose. We all have our gifts. And
and we should be able to talk about it as openly as the Christians talk about their religion, and everybody else talks about their spiritual practices. So
well, spirituality has been demonized, unfortunately, in the society that we live in. You know, I've lost a lot of friends following this path.
That's why I was asking you, how did it go with your family and your friends?
Some of my family members to this point don't really know, because I just don't have the energy to try to explain myself. This is who I am. Either you accept it or you don't. It's not a trend that I'm following. You know, friends have labeled it as a trend. It's not a trend that I'm following. It's my gift. I cannot deny it. I need to follow and listen. So I'm still, you know, there are many family members who don't know what I do, yet they still call me for guidance. They're still calling me well, Anissa, and them not knowing that them calling me for guidance shows that I am gifted. That this is my
Exactly.
gift,
Exactly.
you know. But it's something that, it's something that they will learn to accept,
Yeah.
and it's a personal thing. It's not a free for all. I'm going to follow it. I'm going to do what I need to do, whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not. I've had to speak. Recently, I lost my mother's aunt, who was like my grandmother, and there were things that I needed to do because I was guided to do them. And I come from different family dynamics when it's religion. There's Christianity, there's Islam, and they were all children of her, so they would want it to go a certain way. But as God would have it in spirit, I spoke and they listened, and it went as it was supposed to go. So have faith in your spirituality, believe that what you're doing, even though it will be questioned, nothing and no one will stop it. God is more powerful than anything or anyone. And you just pray. You pray about any word you're about to speak, any decision you're about to make, whether it's family or friends. You pray that it will be received well. And if it's not received well, you pray that the outcome in what you desired gets delivered as it should.
Sure.
You need to have such strong faith in God for you to really fulfill your purpose as a healer.
That is true.
You know, people, as I'm saying, people demonize it, but most of what I do, I rely on God. I'm not religious. I'm not a Bible basher. I'm still learning the Bible through my spirituality. But when I speak, you would think, oh my God, this girl is a Bible basher. She goes to church every Sunday. No, I don't. I know God because I've experienced Him. I've been through really hard times in my life, and everybody would ask, how did you survive? How did you make it through? And I would always say it's the mercy of God. I have met God. When I ask, I receive. There's so much power in that. You know, people say, well, we go to church. We pray every Sunday. How come our prayers are not being heard? God is a powerful God. When you ask Him once, you need to trust that He heard you. You cannot be praying for the same thing over and over, because then you're doubting His power. You pray, you say thank you, and then you wait. There's power in waiting for God to do His work.
Yes. That stillness, huh? Because that's what we struggle with. It's sitting in that stillness. We always feel like we need to feel that we're uncomfortable in surrender.
And God does not make mistakes. Everything you need will be given to you at the time you need it. He does not make... I've learned that lesson countless times through my struggle and my pain. I've had to trust that everything that is happening to me right now, as painful as it is, there's a lesson that I need to leave here with. God's just preparing me for something greater.
Sure, but you don't always feel like that when you're inside the thing,
No,
hey?
you don't. But it's practice. In 2021, during COVID, I was diagnosed with the Delta variant. And as you would have it, I was an attorney at that point, but I had been taking care of my dad. His health wasn't great. He had spent most of his life savings on saving his brother's life. The year that his brother passes, he has a stroke. So there I am, a young little girl, still a daddy's girl, so unaware of what's coming. It ends up happening that I don't have medical aid, and I end up in Baragwanath Hospital with COVID. I had severe COVID pneumonia. I mean, out of 67 patients, I was the only one who survived. And I owe it all to God and trusting myself. I really survived because I listened to my body and I trusted myself.
What happened? What do you mean?
I was laying in Baragwanath, and being a government hospital, there are no curtains. You see everything. I saw patients coming in because I was the first bed. I saw patients coming in alive and talking, struggling to breathe. But as soon as they were incubated, 2 or 3 days later, they died. So I saw that happening. And my oxygen levels were extremely low. my lungs were at 30% capacity. So I was on an invasive, life support, but invasive. So they hadn't incubated me. And seeing what was going on, I realized here I'm going to have to physically fight for my life.
Yeah.
There was 3 or 4 occasions where doctors said, well, tonight we're going to incubate you because you're not healing. Your lungs are just not recovering. We need to give your body time to rest. So what they do is they put you under and you're in an induced coma with a tube down your throat. Your body needs rest and healing. I saw people dying. And Spirit told me, no, don't accept it. I was not sleeping. Every time they'd come near me, I said, no, don't even try. I can dance for 6 hours straight. Well, at the time, I could dance for 6 hours straight. And I said, our bodies are different. You cannot think you're going to incubate me.
Good girl.
And I literally went to war and I fought for my life until I came out of that hospital. I was on oxygen for 3 months after that, 24/7. Eating, breathe, everything, sleeping. My mother took care of me. She bathed me. And I'm an adult at this point. Going to brush my teeth in the morning was the hardest obstacle.
What?
Nobody tells you the difficult part of healing. Physically, just having your body heal. It was very difficult for me. My whole family stood by my side. My mother was really there, my younger sister and my younger brother. They got me through this, and I survived it. And today, yes, I can't run and dance as I used to, but I'm alive. I'm alive. That's why I say I've met God. When I told the doctors, no, you're not going to incubate me. There was a split second in the hospital, a split second, I won't lie to you, where I gave up. I said, okay.
Let me roll over.
My body's just...
Then what happened for you that made you say, actually, no, I've changed my mind?
When death is knocking on your door, it's the scariest thing. I saw death. It's such a scary thing that I said, nope. Oh, no, not ready, not doing this. And I started fighting. Through the prayers of my parents, the nurses around me. I was, really, God had me. He sent all the angels to help me. The nurses looking after me in Baragwana would wash my body in the morning and pray over me and sing over me. I was so protected. I was so guarded. I was so blessed too. It was a very difficult thing for me going through this, almost losing my life, but I was surrounded by angels, living angels. So yeah, I met God. I've met God. And I'm blessed to be sitting here with you, breathing normally, somewhat normally, but yeah.
And that is why you can have that gift of the ushering people who are on their way out. So that COVID experience was your initiation.
It was my initiation. There was, and I tell people the story and they think I'm crazy, but there was a lady laying 4 beds for me. I hadn't seen her, but I'd heard her. She kept saying, can I please just brush my teeth before you incubate me, And the doctors were like, no, we need to do this. 2 days later, she came to my bedside in spirit form. And she was holding on for life. She said, please, I don't want to go. And telling people this, they say you're under meds, you're crazy.
No.
This is not a real thing. It was a real thing. And
yes.
I remember her holding on to me for life. And I just denied it. I said, I can't. I'm fighting for myself. I can't. At that point, of course, I wasn't spiritually inclined really. Didn't really understand what was happening. But it was real. I felt her spirit come to me asking, I don't want to go. Because a lot of people lost their lives there during COVID. I know. Whether it was their time or not. A lot of things went wrong.
Or not.
And a lot of people were fighting for their life. Some people just, they gave up, they gave in.
It was mental.
It was war. It was spiritual warfare.
It really was.
It was spiritual warfare. Coming out of there, I was so traumatized because once I had left ICU, they'd moved me into isolation. So ICU, people are dying every day. 6-7 people are dying. I would see them roll their bodies out. 6, 7 people are dying. I remember calling my dad one day and being like, Dad, I can't do this. Like, how am I meant to survive if all I'm seeing is death? And he said, Baba, you got to be strong. This is part of life. Do what you need to get out of there, but you need to be strong. This is part of life. And, you know, if you're seeing death, you're then losing hope. Because if they're dying, what makes me so special? Why? I saw people dying. I've never been exposed to this in my life. And as you say, it might have been my initiation in dealing with death. And since my father's passing, I look at death so much. It's differently now. I look at death differently. I accept death because we're all going that way. Nobody's here forever. Yes, you can mourn and miss the memories of that person. But if they're being called to go home. So really, yeah, my struggles have taught me I am who I am because of the struggles I've been through. And I think those struggles have made me ready to accept my gift. Because now I can do my job knowing. I've been to school. I've been there. I've learned those hard lessons. And I'm here to testify that I've made it and God is real.
Tamaku. Thank you so much for joining us. That was beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. I know it wasn't easy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Umoya ulight, umoya ubright. Thank you so much, guys, for always continuously supporting the channel. We really feel your energy. We appreciate what you have made this podcast to become. Thank you for everybody donating, especially the members who help us keep the lights on, guys. We really, really need you and appreciate you. And as always, Abelungu who are watching this, we are busy correcting the work of your ancestors. So please do contribute, especially Nina. See you again next time.
Who are you when all you were has been diluted by lies and white lines cancelling out all that which has been written of your history? Why do you look at yourself as a mystery? Doesn't the sun shine because you open your eyes? Doesn't the moon stay situated within the same stars your DNA sparkles off? Your spirit knows that surely corner into it off. Buza umoya so you may return to being well off. Because spiritually you are rich, yet your ancestors cry because you are out of reach. But yours is to command all elements while God takes inspiration from the very mirror she looked at to become. Remember who you are and never finish just when they think that with you they are done.